Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to Thursday Thoughts. I haven't seen everybody for a while. It feels a bit weird to be on live again after a few weeks off. So I'm really glad that I'm here. I'm really happy to see you all, mashallah. And I'm really glad that Sister Aisha, Coach Aisha, mashallah, our Islamic relationship, I'm going to say it wrong, Aisha, sorry. Relationship and divorce coach is here, and so is Yusra, our health and fitness and behavior coach. Did I get those right or a little bit wrong? Slightly there.
Perfect.
Yeah, all right,
Perfect.
excellent, alhamdulillah. So obviously we are your parenting tribe, and we are here to help you every week. We're here on Thursdays. I was a little bit surprised this week because I got a few emails that I just thought, hang on a minute, am I not explaining this right? So I would like to just say again, we are here. Whenever I put the links for the Thursday live, if you get the email and you go, oh, I got the email on Saturday, don't worry, just click the same link and it will bring you back to here and you'll watch whatever the live was. Okay, so the links normally go directly to the video. If for any reason the links don't go directly to the video, all you have to do is get onto our YouTube channel, and from there click lives or live streams, click it, and then you'll see all the different ones that we've done. And YouTube is so nice, mashallah, they put it in the order, so like the latest ones come first, don't they?
Yeah.
And then the others. I've also been really kind because I was in a kind mood this week. And I've created playlists, right? This is so cool. And I've put all of our Ramadan videos in one. I've put all of our how to teach your children Quran or anything about Islam videos. And I've put all the Fathers Conference videos together. And I've put all, like, so they're all in different categories. So you can just go in there, check playlists, and then inshallah you'll be able to watch it. So I just wanted to let everyone know that that is live and available for you whenever. So it doesn't matter if, like, for example, if you were busy now at 1 o'clock, because to be honest with you, we've got to fit in with the schedules of the coaches. So sometimes they're available at 1:30, 2. So I tried to make it Thursday afternoon, but mashallah, we always make it, don't we? Alhamdulillah. And funnily enough, today we're going to be talking about commitment. And that is really our commitment to you, sisters, that we are here and we're available to help. We have got a WhatsApp group, and I've put the link down below. So if you would like to join our WhatsApp group, ask us questions. Well, you can ask me Iram directly, and then we'll share it to the right coach, inshallah. So that's one of the services that we provide. Another service is if you've signed up to any of our conferences, you'll start to receive emails from us every week. So we are the people that email you. I write the emails. It's me. I know that sounds weird to some people. It's like, well, hello, it says from Sarah Adams. I know that, but I'm just saying that I am the person. So please, sometimes I get messages saying, please forward this to Sarah. It's like, hello, I'm here. It's me. So please do message, comment, reply. Let us know what you're thinking. Like I said, I've got direct access and I always read them. What is our mission to you, or what is our mission or purpose or goal, is to help you raise your children in the country that you're in. Sometimes you're born in a foreign country and then you go to another country to raise your children, and it's not life like you know it. It's not how you were raised. It's not what the surroundings that you used to have with the azan 5 times a day. Now you're in a foreign country and it's all completely different, and you need support. You need to find your friends. You need to find people that are there and available for you. I came from the opposite side. I went from the west back to the east, and even for me, living in a foreign country without that help and support was really, really difficult. So we're here from all sorts of different perspectives, right? Coach Yusra has done the opposite journey, like we just said. Coach Aisha has been born and brought up in Britain. She's been, she's been exposed to so many different cultures, mashallah. She was in a, do you mind if I say that, Aisha? I should have asked you. No. Interracial marriage, mashallah. So at the end of the day, we've got so much experience in different places that we would like to share with you, because I've struggled with my kids, and I'm sure Coach Aisha and Coach Yusra, everyone, we've all had our struggles and we've found certain things difficult, and we tend to ask each other for advice, and we wanted to create a place that everyone could come and ask for advice. So wherever you're from, whatever stage of life you're in, whether you've got babies or whether you've got teenagers. We wanted to create a place that everyone can come together and share their experiences. So we had a couple of weeks ago, some of the sisters on the WhatsApp group came and did a live, didn't we? We had Sister Nadia come on, and she was like, yes, I'm going to show you how I taught my kids about puberty, which is absolutely phenomenal for us as coaches, because we're showing that transformation. We're seeing sisters that are not confident, that don't know, they feel a bit shy, or and they're coming on and they're really showing up, and we're creating that community that we would like for ourselves with you. I'm laughing a little bit because I said to Aisha, I'm not going to talk, and then I just took the stage for the first 10 minutes. Anyway, I'm just going to finish off with two things. So this week, I just appreciate your patience with our website, because it is down, and it might be down until Saturday night, which we're trying to get it back up again. Inshallah, should be back on live today or tomorrow. As soon as it is, I'll resend the email, because like I said, I write the email, but then I schedule it to send, and then it automatically goes, and I forget things, which is that I should have mentioned about the thing being offline. But anyway, that's fine, inshallah. So at the moment, some of the links might not work to sign up for the supported group. So we have a group that is called Supported, where we support you to be those mums that you want to be, the mums that you see on Instagram. All right, I'm not going to promise that your house is going to be spick and span and clean, because I'm going to put my hand up and say my hand in my house is not spick and span or clean 24/7. In fact, I think it's probably 1 out of 24 hours that you might see it in a decent state, right? And that's okay, because that's real life. Real life is not on Instagram, sisters. Okay. So we will show you our strategies, like Coach Yusra's amazing at meal planning, and you're good at like sorting out the cooking, isn't it? Even though you don't like it, and we're going to talk about that later on. Coach Aisha is really amazing at talking to people and the relationships, and how to talk and how to get what you want from people, which is amazing, isn't it? Imagine you can talk
manipulative.
No, it does, doesn't it? I was going to say, imagine he talks to someone, just gives them whatever it in a non-manipulative way, let's put it like that. And mashallah, so the links below at the moment, you'll probably see the chat to the WhatsApp group. You will also see a brand new link to another chat. Now, this one is something that I'm doing with the teachers in Love Learning Online, and some teachers that don't work for Love Learning Online, but we've come together, we've collaborated to create a Ramadan camp for you and your children, inshallah. So inshallah, if you guys all log on, join the chat, there'll be a little form to fill in, and you can actually tell us how old your kids are, what subjects you want us to teach them, what days you're available, because we're going to make it especially for you, inshallah. And obviously with the recent events that everyone knows about that's happened this week, that I'm sure are weighing heavily on everyone's minds, the teachers have agreed to send the profits, inshallah, to Turkey. So I would encourage everyone to join both of those WhatsApp groups for now. See, I told you it's not clean. Something just broke over there. It's all right. All right. Did it just fall? It just fell. Okay. And that's it. So that's all from me. And I am here. I'm just backstage, just watching Coach Aisha and Coach Yusra, inshallah. And we have got lots of questions that were asked in the WhatsApp group that I'm going to be sending to them. But before we do that, they're going to be talking about something absolutely phenomenal, which is your commitment and your motivation and dedication to your projects, which I hope that we've proved that we are dedicated. If we haven't, it's all right, inshallah. Make dua for us. All right, sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All right, assalamu alaikum. Everybody's super excited to be here. Yeah, so this live was just impromptu, wasn't it? And usually a lot of the lives that I personally do, I don't prepare for. I just go on and just chat. So this conversation that we're going to have right now, before answering your questions, was just inspired by the conversation that I had in my own coaching group. So I run WhatsApp group for my clients and stuff like that. And it was real and it was raw, right? And I just want to say that whatever that I'm going to share, this is not to undermine how busy you are. as a mom, as a business owner, as, do you know what I mean? Because life can get busy. This isn't to say, no, you're just making excuses, right? We know life can get busy. So this is not coming from a place of shame or judgment. It never is. Whatever we share here as a team of, a parenting with Allah by my side, we're not looking to shame or judge anyone. But as coaches, we are going to say things that other people may not say to you, because that is our role, right? I'm going to tell you the hard stuff because no one else is going to tell you, and that is my job. And if I don't, then I'm not serving you, right? So today's conversation is very much around motivation and how we see it. Now, from my experience as a health and fitness professional, as a busy mom, as a student, there's this concept of, I need motivation to be able to, I'll use what I know, exercise and nutrition, right? I need motivation to exercise or to eat well or to move, right? Now, that concept is really flawed, because here's the thing. Most of the time, our motivation is going to be dictated by our mood, right? When you're in a good mood, it's like, yeah, I'm motivated today. I'll train hard. I feel good. My husband complimented me, complimented my outfit, and I'm going to do it. I'm really motivated, right? And then you're going to have days you're like, yeah, I'm not feeling so great. This person said that and that and that, and you're low in your mood. And I tell you what, you're not going to be motivated to work out on that day.
No.
You're not going to be motivated to eat well on that day, right? But what's going to help you stay aligned, and I know Sister Aisha is going to talk about this a little bit from her experience as well, is your commitment. Whatever journey that you're on, right? Whatever you've decided to do, whatever goal that you're looking to achieve, be it in health and fitness, be in your business, whatever it is, your commitment needs to be higher than your motivation. Like an example that I gave is, I'm doing my master's in psychology, right? So when I started, it was new, it was exciting. I didn't know what to expect, right? It's that excitement. And then 1 year into it, I dread the lectures. I dread doing the assignments, honestly, because it's not shiny anymore. It's not new anymore. Now it's all about how committed are you? Why did you start it? And tell you what, my commitment to serve women is so powerful that I'll take the actions that I really don't want to, because I know what the bigger picture is.
Yeah.
I know the impact it can create in my own life and in the lives of the people that I coach. And because I realize the depth of that, the importance of that. Yeah, I'm gonna study even on the days when I really don't want to. I may study on the days when I'm really tired, if that's what needs to happen. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not motivated to change my kid's nappy. I don't know.
No.
I'm not. But you do it because, hey, if I don't change their nappy, they're going to get a diaper rash, and then they're going to become unwell and stuff like that. So whatever goal that you're trying to achieve, dig deeper into why you're doing it, right?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with this, because I don't know if you know, Rishra, actually, I just recently started my degree in psychology as well.
I did not know that. Well
yeah.
done.
Do you know what? It took me many, many years to figure out, like, if I did want to go to university, what is it I wanted to do? And I just sat down now, and it's exactly how you said it. It's really shiny. It's new. Like, okay, I'll show you. I've bought all these different books because it's stationery, right? Like, everybody loves stationery. It's new, it's exciting, and I have a whole new pencil case with all my stationery in it. And I didn't hesitate when I knew that I got in. I thought, okay, I gotta go shopping now. I gotta go get my stationery. And that's the motivation. And then when I sit there and I'm listening to my lecturers and I'm listening to them talk about the boring side of psychology, because let's be really real. Even though you might like a subject, you don't have to like everything about that subject.
Oh, Aisha, the papers are so boring. The research studies are, I'm like, they're falling asleep. I have to read this research paper. And absolutely, yeah.
It's true, right? Like sometimes you gotta do the boring stuff because you like the interesting stuff about that subject.
Yes.
And I had to go back to why I was doing it every single day. Even when I find it really difficult to concentrate, because I haven't done this type of studying in, of course, like more than 10 years now, or about 10 years. And first of all, I thought I was as young as I was before, and I thought I could just snap back into it really quickly. And then I was hit like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh no, I got to put these systems in place so that I can go back to them when I do feel like I'm not motivated. And I think we spoke a little bit about this just before we came live. And one thing I said to Yusra is action precedes motivation. Like, in order to have that motivation, sometimes you can never have it, but you know you need to get it done.
Yeah.
Some people don't enjoy being a mom all the time, but you still got to feed your children and yourself, right? Some people don't enjoy doing these, like, you know, being the taxi woman, taking your kids here and there and here and there, but you still got to take them to school or madrasa or whatever it is for you.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're going to do things that you're not motivated to do, that you do not like doing, but because it's a necessary thing, it's got to be done.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
for me, it was always about pushing people into understanding, not pushing them in a, what's the word I'm looking for? In a harsh way, but making them understand that there's going to be days where you don't want to get out of bed, or you don't want to have that difficult conversation, or you don't want to put in the boundary with yourself again, because that's what it is about being motivated, right? It's boundaries with yourself, saying to yourself that, yes, right now I'm feeling this resistance, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. And also another thing, just to add to that, Aisha, is resistance is normal. Like our brain, we are built to protect us. Like the purpose of the brain is to protect us, because our ancestors, if they weren't careful, if they weren't certain, if they weren't alert all the time, they would be eaten by animals. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So whenever we're doing something that slightly uncomfortable, slightly new, something that takes effort and stuff like that, resistance is expected. And when we can understand that, hey, I'm feeling resistance here, dig deeper to go, okay, why? Is there a fear there? There's usually like a fear of failing or some kind of, right? Dig deeper as opposed to saying, you know what, I can't do it. And not expecting resistance doesn't make sense, and it's not realistic. And also another thing, whenever we start something new, I see this in health and fitness, right? Whenever they start a journey, we expect the journey to be linear, to go like that, one straight line. That is not how progress works. I can tell you that. No. It's this zigzag. That's going to up one day you're down, one day you're this, one day. So many things are going to happen. But when you have commitment and say, you know what, I've got this, and you build that resilience, that capacity, that adaptability, and that flexible mindset, because that is so important. Shifting away from a fixed mindset and bringing that flexible mindset is like, hey, I know Allah is testing me right now, because we're all tested in so many different ways, but I've got this. What can I do? Who can I be in this moment in time to step into a person who can deal with that challenge? Because with every challenge in life, it's there to make us grow. A challenge can do two things: make us grow or break us. It's purely down to how we define it and the meaning we attach to it. Right?
No, I completely agree with that. What meaning we put to our events that we go to is often something that is so outside of what actually happened. And that's something that I always have to, number one, ask myself, what did I make this mean? And two, when clients are going through different things. Or people ask me about relationships. You got to ask them, well, what did you make that mean? Because sometimes it could be, let's say, somebody asks you, says to you that they don't like the color blue, but you're wearing a blue hijab that day. Sometimes we make that mean that, oh my God, she doesn't like me because she says something about the color blue. But actually, all she's just said, she don't like blue.
Yeah.
It's a very menial example there, but sometimes that is how we play on things because of how we are already feeling, etc., etc. And then we put that meaning to events that we have had. But I do think motivation is something that a lot of people talk about. Like, you need motivation, and I disagree with this because I think no, you just need consistency and commitment. Commitment first, and then consistency. Every single day to be motivated. Like, I think motivation comes last. Because once you see like the
results and the
results.
yeah, it's true. Because when you use your commitment to stay aligned, right, to those goals, eventually you're going to have that intrinsic motivation. Like Aisha, believe it or not, I've been training for over 20 years. I don't wake up every morning going, yay, I get to work out today. I'm not motivated to work out, but I have that intrinsic, that inner knowing that, you know what, I really don't want to do this, but I'm going to do anyway, because guess what? I want to be 60 and be healthy and fit and strong. I want to be 60, inshallah, and not have to battle diabetes and cardiovascular diseases and other chronic illnesses. I want to be 60 and not be on a wheelchair and moved around because I don't have the strength to do it myself. Right? So that intrinsic motivation, that driver that's driving me to get up and take action even when I really don't want to. And this building the reps under the bar, the more you take actions that you really don't want to do, the easier it becomes to take those actions. So that's where the consistency comes into play.
No, I completely agree on this, because I've seen that in my own personal life and also in lives of clients or just people in general, really, when they took the action and they thought, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then they're motivated to get to the next level and then the next level. And whatever that level is, and depending on the situation, they're just motivated to do more because they saw the result. And I think that's really important as well, is also looking at the bigger picture. Like you mentioned just there, like, where am I going to be in 20 years' time? I want to be 60 and I want to be healthy. But Islam also teaches us this, right? Like, live your life now for the akhirah, for the next life. So we have that concept in Islam as well, but we also need to put that concept in the smaller things in life, in how we deliver, whether that's in exercise, in nutrition, in relationships, or studying, or children, or parenting, whatever it is. That concept also needs to be put into the everyday life of ours. Like, what about tomorrow? What's going to happen tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
And we often want that instant gratification, that now, I want to feel good now, right? As opposed to, you know, I'm going to do this work because I know that delayed gratification is what's going to serve me long term, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope that was helpful, inshallah. Aisha, do you want to start digging into, I think this first question would be great for you.
Yes, so the question from what I see, okay, so it says, Assalamu alaikum, I need some help. Well, we're here to help. How to deal with a child who is upset because he never gets any merit and certification in school or madrasa. He is an intelligent boy with all capabilities, but I'm not sure how the reward systems work at school, etc. I keep saying to him, it's okay, merits are not important, you are doing your best, but he is upset. How to validate and ease him, especially because he's already suffers from low self-esteem. I don't want him to lose all confidence in himself. What a long question. There's a lot there, actually. And I think I would say, as a first starting point, is you be that cheerleader. Right? Like, every single day when they come home or when they're doing something at home, let's just say they're taking the dishes from the living room to the kitchen. Tell them how proud you are of them. Like, oh my God, you helped me today. I'm so proud to have you as my child. Like, or I'm so proud to be your mom. Like, this is one thing I have also implemented in my girl, because she too had a similar thing about this. And the other side to it is, once you start giving that validation at home, you also got to remind them, in my opinion, eventually we'll have to remind them that they're not all like, we're not always going to be rewarded for what we do. My point with that is, we got to get them into a mindset of, just like me and Yusra have just been talking about, it's the consistency of doing something, because we're not always going to get that recognition from our family or from our school, or our madrasa, but you can give that at home. So say, for example, you know that your child has been working really hard in doing his homework, for example. Create your own certificates at home and say, do you know what? I've seen that you've been given your homework in every single week this term, and I know that sometimes you were tired and you still did it. So see the smaller detail in what they've done, and then reward them like that. Yeah. However, be mindful of the way you reward them, because you don't want them to also think, okay, if I do this, mama's going to get me this. I fell into that.
That is such an important point. Yeah.
Because my girl will do sometimes some things. Sometimes she'll do some things, and then she's like, can I have £1 now? And I'm like,
yeah,
I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And I have to not only tell myself, wider family, like what I'm doing at home. So I have that support system, so that if she does, like, kids are very clever, aren't they? They'll go to the other family member and say, well, my mum gives me £1 every time I do this, and you got to manage that. But I would always say, be that cheerleader yourself. In everything that he does. So if he's doing his shoelaces himself, oh, wow, that's amazing. You're just constantly saying that. And then eventually you will start seeing them say it to themselves about things like, Mama, I learned how to do X, Y, Z. I learned how to do this. But with schools and things like that, the reality is they're not always going to give your child something. Yeah. You got to tell them that. You got to make sure that they understand that sometimes we can try really hard and not get the results that we need.
Yeah, and I think what you said was really important about the reward systems, right? We don't want to really reward the outcome, but more the effort, right? You don't want to reward the grade. Oh, you got an A+ and stuff like that. That can be great, but we don't want to use the outcome as the main driver for that reward. It's like you tried really hard. That is great. Yeah. So much energy into that. So reward the effort regardless of the outcome, right? Mm-hmm. What I also think is, like you said, Aisha, teaching them to be their own cheerleader. Like when my daughter, she loves to draw, and she always goes, hey, Mama, look, I did this and this and this. Do you like it? Before I say whether I like it or not, I ask her, do you like it? Do you like what you've done? Because what that does is it helps her validate herself. Because one of the issues that we can have when we're constantly looking for the external validation is what we become adults. And that's a pattern of behavior, isn't it? Right? We become adults, and then we're looking for the pattern of validation that, external validation from other people now. Oh, I did amazing. I want people to tell me how amazing I did.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's such a thin line between us validating our children, but also teaching them how to validate themselves and understand, you know what, I know I did great. Even if I didn't get the merit, that's okay, because I know how amazing I did. Right.
Yeah. I agree with your point, though. It is a very thin line, right? Because you don't want them to rely on you saying, well done to everything, but then you also don't want to be that parent that is neglectful in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. My son, he's 8, he turns 9 in March, inshallah. And yesterday he asked me something. He goes, oh, I did XYZ. Are you proud of me? And I looked at him. I said, I am proud of you, but I'm proud of you regardless of what you did. I'm always proud of you. right? So even our language needs to be important, because hey, you don't have to have success A, B, C, D. I'm proud of you regardless. I'm your mom.
Yeah.
You're my baby, right? So you don't have to have all these achievements for me to be proud of you, right?
Yeah. That's one thing my girl used to really struggle with sometimes when she was younger and she did something that she shouldn't have done. She would still come and tell me, but she would go quiet for a second and say, Mama, do you still love me?
Oh,
And I'm
bless.
like,
Yeah.
this is when she's like 4 or 5, right? So she's still trying to understand what love is. And I would always, and still correct, I still have to correct myself and her and say, regardless of what you do, I'm still going to love you. So if you've done something, you could tell me. I might be hurt, but I'm still going to love you. Like, I'm still going to speak to you about whatever it is. And eventually she stopped asking me that, but I would still say that to her. Like, remember, like, I'm still going to love you regardless of whatever you've done, good or bad, because we're still human, right? We can't expect our children to be right all the time, or ourselves. Like, it's difficult being a parent. Gosh, I don't know. It's difficult being a parent because you never want to also make them think that whatever they do is always going to be good, or whatever they do is always going to be bad, right? Like, you have to make them understand that there is going to be bad in the world. You are going to mess up.
Yeah, but that wouldn't change how I feel about you as my child. It's not going to. Do you know what I mean? I think that sort of bound, that inner knowing for them that my dad is proud of me is so key. This next question, Aisha, is hard. Like, life is hard these days, right? Assalamu alaikum. May Allah put barakah in this group. Recently, my 7-year-old started to moan a lot and shared how he feels at school to his teacher. I don't know how to set boundaries, really struggling sometimes for him to listen. I mean, we used to spend so much time when we were free, but now both of us at work, and it's really difficult when hubby has to stay 3 days in London every week. It's getting really difficult for me to maintain everything. He listens and everything, but sometimes he talks too much. So without a bigger context here, it's difficult. Like, do you know what I mean in terms of work? Are there hours? Can you choose and stuff like that? Because all of those things will come into play. But I think we had this discussion before in one of our group, Aisha, didn't we? Is where we said to set a time with each of the kids depending on their age gap, right? And you set a dedicated time just for them. So that's something that I mean, honestly, it's hard either way, sister. There's no judgment or shame, like we said. This is just to build awareness. When I was in corporate, one of the reasons why I left corporate is similar to what you described. I was a computer programmer, for those of you who don't know. I used to work 12-hour days, right? I'm out of my house 6 a.m., drop my girl, firstborn at daycare from 3 months old, right? At daycare, I'm at work, 6 p.m. I go pick her up. We got home. All I did was feed her, put her to bed. Communication with my husband was this whole different thing, because even though I was present with him, I really wasn't. My mind wasn't there because I'm thinking about work. And that took a toll, right? And I started to realize I wasn't living life aligned to my values. My values are health, children, and religion, my family, my religion, and my health. But my work took over all of that because I wasn't praying in time. I wasn't present for my family, right? So for me, and this may not be for everybody, I quit my job. I left corporate, something that I've been doing for almost 10 years, because I found it really hard to juggle working as a working mom. Some people can do it, no judgment. I personally couldn't, because I couldn't get home and just switch off. I was constantly worrying about work, right? So we don't have, without a lot of context here, I would say, look, in terms of your working hours, do you have working hours that you can kind of build boundaries around? Are you going to work, or is it your own work? Because when I started what I'm doing now, again, I was working more than when I was at work. That's what I do, right?
Yes.
So I was working constantly. So I had to build some harsh boundaries about, hey, how much I was actually on my phone and stuff like that, and create that space for my children. Yeah, kids communicate with us in more than just words. They communicate with us through actions, right? So if your child doesn't feel like they're being listened to at home, they're gonna go elsewhere and try to get someone to listen to them. So just creating those boundaries around your work, there's no way around that, right?
Agree. Totally agree. It also sounds like the things I picked up is he talks a lot. That's what I picked up actually, because my girl has only recently turned, I didn't say recently, it's in December turned 8. So not far from your baby's age here, but it sounds like they're expressing it to you. They're expressing to you everything that they are not able to say to you in the time that they want to. They've kept it up. And then when it comes to be able to sit down and say something to you, everything is coming up. Listen, even though I spend a lot of time with my girl, when it comes to bedtime, oh my goodness, bedtime. That's when she will tell me what all the
Oh my God, yeah.
she will tell me what she really got. Even though I'm asking multiple times, okay, so what did you do in school? That's when it really comes out. Who said what? Who was wearing what she really thinks about something, what she really ate. All of these come out at bedtime. And she will say, really innocently, Mama, I have a question. So she sounds so curious about something, and you can't say no, it's hard. But it does sound like they're bottling it up for so long, and then when it comes to actually speaking to you, it sounds like they're talking a lot, but it's just because they haven't spoken to you for that duration of time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
give them that time, inshallah, but take pauses as well, because I know it can be overstimulating sometimes, and you're just like, okay, but take a breath, take them out, let them run around. And I would also ask them to write down their questions or anything they want to tell you during the day on bits of paper, and you can go over them with them when they're at home. I know it's not easy, working and having your children at home as well, and then coming home, maintaining your houses, maintaining your marriages. It's a struggle, to say the least.
I think this next question, Sister Aisha, is for you. I don't have those videos, but
do any of our YouTube videos where you were given a talk about the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law issues? I don't think we do. I'm not sure if we have daughter-in-law.
Hello.
Hi.
I did pop up, about the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. Do you know what? I just saved these and I didn't really read them, so I was like, poor things, they're reading them at the same time. So we do have some videos for mother-in-law, daughter-in-law issues, but they're not entire videos. It's like when someone's asked a question. Yeah. So actually, I'll just mention what I said to the sister. So the sister was saying that her mother-in-law and her sister-in-law, her mum and her sister-in-law, so her mother and her Barbie, if you guys know Urdu Hindi, are fighting, like arguing with each other. And she was feeling like she was in the middle. And basically her question is like, what can I do? How can I solve this problem? Because one complains to me, the other one complains to me. So really, I think relationship-wise, Aisha, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but when you're in the middle of that situation, there's really no winner. Like really, it's like impossible, right? Because you want to keep your relationship with your Barbie, sacred, and with your mother, you don't want to ruin that as well. So what you need to do is you need to figure out a way that they can talk to each other. So I guess the advice would go from that angle. Again, because I keep referring to Aisha because I'm like, I don't want to say anything that's not within our relationship and advice guidelines. But anyway, the mother that asked that question, I actually answered her privately, and I said, look, the brother at the moment, her brother feels like he's in the middle, and this is really wrong. This is where I focused my answer on, because he's not in the middle. You're married. The only rishta, the only relationship that is going to be in Jannah is that one with your spouse, right? Am I right or wrong, girls? Please correct me if I am. Okay, so that's the relationship that will be in Jannah, inshallah. That's the one that he needs to focus on for that reason. However, where is Jannah? It's at the feet of your mother. I love Islam for this reason, because it's like you can just figure it out, right? So where is Jannah? Where are you going to find Jannah? You're going to find the Jannah at the feet of your mother. It's really difficult again for the husband. So my advice was to speak to the husband and tell him to speak to his wife and tell her, please respect my mom. She's my mom at the end of the day. We've got to live together. I can't afford to move out. This is what we've got to do. And at the same time, speak to the mother and say, Mom, please, can you just make it easy for her? Can you not do this? Can you not do that? I know it's difficult. I know it's easy to say and it's not easy to do. And I have been in this situation for a couple of years. And when I say couple of years, I mean like 2 years sort of directly and about 15 years indirectly. So I understand when people come with these issues, how difficult it is, but it's the husband that is going to make any difference. Nobody else will make any difference, because they don't, first of all, they're not even going to respect anyone else's opinion as much as that one does her son and that one does her husband. So I think that's my advice on that. What do you think, sisters?
Agreed. I want to just add something though, right? If you, for whatever reason, have to get into the middle, so mother comes to you and says she's this, she's that. Sister comes to you, or sister-in-law comes and says she's this, she's that. You have that duty to speak to both of them and say that's backbiting, number one, and you will become a witness for that. So you also will be punished for listening to that. So we also have to say, with respect to both of them, and say, look, Mama, I love you. Look, sis, I love you. But if you have something to say, I can't listen to that, because you have to be impartial to that, because it's not fair on either one of those parties, and it's not fair on you being in the middle, but it happens, right? I've probably, like, my brothers are not married, but I've probably said, look, Mom, do you know so-and-so said this and so-and-so said, I've been in that position. So I never want anybody else to be in that position, because you too will be in that position when you're all questioned together and Yawm al-Qiyamah. But because you love them both, I think it's a duty on all of us to say that with respect. And you might not be looked at the same, but you have to also understand that you have to say that, because you don't want to be in that position, because it's not fair on you, because you want to say yes to both of them and love them both. For the husband, I will definitely say he too needs to say something very similar, because they both have rights, but your wife has rights, but so does your mom as well. Like, she needs to be satisfied in knowing that her son is a great guy, but also the wife also needs to know that he's also in the middle too. But he does need to be that leader and say, okay, Mama, I love you, and okay, I love you, but it's backbiting at the end of the day as well. And if we can't really work these differences out, this is why it's like, if you look at the time of the Prophet, not a lot of them stayed with their in-laws, because it's difficult.
They didn't. That's not Islamic, right?
It's not part of the sunnah, but I wouldn't say it's not against Islam. It's just not part of the sunnah, really, because we all have our own needs. But if it has to happen, it has to happen, right? But it comes with the territory of living with extended family, though. This does come with that territory.
I just wanted to kind of say something around that, right? When you live, my mom always says, I don't want to live with you guys after you get married. Like, and this is the thing. If I like, I stayed with my mom when I moved to Africa for a few months before I moved to my own house. She's my mom, and even though she's my mom, as a married woman, it was still difficult to live with her. Does that make sense? because you're a different person. You want things to be done a certain way, and whether that's your mom, or your mother-in-law, we all like to do things in a different way. Now, my experience from my mother-in-law and what I learned to do, my mother-in-law is amazing. Like, she is amazing, mashallah, right? She never interferes or anything like that, but ultimately, that's her son.
Yeah.
Right? There are going to be things that are said sometimes directly to me. Like, I remember she called me once at work, yelling at me for God knows what. I don't even remember, right? My husband doesn't know about it. Did he need to know? No, because what would that do? Get him to choose between his wife and his mom?
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I feel like in a marriage, there's certain things that we can just take it on the chin and let go, because ultimately I see my mother-in-law as my mom. Does that make sense? I don't see her as any different. Yeah, my mom is going to tell me a lot of things, and because she's my mom, I'm going to let go. So that's how I treat my mother-in-law. I don't take things as personal because she's my mother-in-law. She's my mom. Because me telling my husband every tiny little thing that my mother-in-law tells me, even if I don't like it, to me, that doesn't serve a purpose. It just puts him in a difficult situation where now he's forced to address the issue. Does that make sense? And then to choose between his wife and his mom. So I think also as daughter-in-laws, it's really up to us to play the politics of the home. It's just how it is. All right. And kind of choose, okay, what is it that is actually hard that I need to share because it's important? And what other things can I just let go? Because ultimately, she's just like my mom, right?
Couldn't agree more. Take it with a pinch of salt. That's how I see
Yeah,
it.
I do have to say that, like, when I realized how I would treat my parents differently to my in-laws, I had to realize that, like, it's a realization that you come to, isn't it? Whereas when I did one time come to my parents, I remember Miriam was very little, and my dad, as I was walking out, he said something like, put a blanket on her, and I just got the blanket and I just did it. And I was thinking, oh my God, the other day my mother-in-law told me to put a blanket on her, and I was like, I know what I'm doing, all right.
Right. It's interesting how we react when it's our parents versus our in-laws.
Yeah,
Right?
and I had to. It's a procedure, isn't it? You realize like what you're doing, and it doesn't. And again, I don't think we do it on purpose. You
No,
know,
no, no.
obviously, it's very difficult. Yeah, Tofi, the same thing, right? Like trying to maintain your Islamic values is so difficult living with a brother-in-law at home. Like, I know that's completely different to having a mother-in-law, but like these kind of things, that's why I really believe that when they get married, I'm just like your mum, Yusra. I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, and I've told them even when they're little, they're like, but mommy, I want to stay with you. No, you're not staying with me.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Don't
you're
worry, you won't be staying.
in this 8-bedroom house with just you and dad. Like, it's going to
No,
no.
did I ever mention this story about how I said to my girl that she has to live with me and she threw me off? When my girl was, I can't remember how it came up, right? And I said to my girl, like, you know, when you get married, you're going to be living with me. I said, of course you're going to live with me. You're my baby. I don't want to let you go. And she went, Mom. And I knew what was coming. She went, Mom, I love you, but when I get married, I'm gonna have my own house, and you know, like you go to nannies once a week. You can come to my house once a week. I went, no, you have to stay in my house. You can have the next room. And she went, no, Mom, no, I can't live here.
Oh, smart girl.
She got it before I did.
Oh, beautiful. All right, let's hop on to the next question. I think this will be mine.
Mm.
How can I stop being dizzy after my period? You know, so I'm assuming you feel lightheaded and all these things. So there's a few things that popped up for me. Is number one, it's really hard for me to kind of say it's because of this, is because of that, right? It just purely depends how heavy is your bleeding. The one thing I would say is check your iron levels, right? Because if you have a very period and you're losing a lot of blood and stuff like that, yeah, being low on iron, being anemic can definitely leave you lightheaded. So what I would first do is check your iron levels and check your vitamin D levels, right? Especially if this is something that happens after your period, after losing quite a bit of blood. That is where my mind is going to get you to kind of check for. And also things like, are you hydrating? Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? And all these other kind of important things that you want to consider, because dehydration can also leave you feeling weak, lethargic, no energy and stuff like that. But iron levels is where I would kind of go with that and have that checked, and vitamin D levels as well.
The next question I will do. So it says, I'm assuming this individual's talking about their baby, because she's written he's 2.6. Mashallah, what accurate age. 2.6 at the moment, and he keeps touching his private parts, which is not so good. I was thinking maybe it's because he was not comfortable with his diapers, but he also does this when he is diaper free. To my understanding, around that age, it's very natural for them to do that, because they're trying to figure out what it is that's on their bodies. They're trying to understand their body parts, and they're not doing it because it's a sexual thing. It's just getting to know them. I don't think at that age there's not a huge amount you can do, except for, of course, keep telling him not to do it and move him away from that. But he's gonna do it, and the girls do this as well.
I actually, Aisha, think if you tell them not to do it, if you make it like a big deal, they'll continue doing it. Pretend like nothing's happening. Like my daughter used to do that, not my son, my daughter. Because what is this down there, right? And it's you're right. It's just part of curiosity. Okay, what are these parts that I can't really see properly? I want to get curious about it, right? So just pretend like they're not doing anything, because with children, the more you tell them don't do this, they're gonna go, okay, they're gonna do more of it. So what I did with my daughter is just pretend like she wasn't doing it, or just distract her with something else. Whenever she would do it, like in the shower, and redirect, exactly, just distract her with something else, as opposed to focusing on it and tell her don't do that, because it would just make her do it more.
I completely agree with that, because I think we had I think my girl started when she was pretty young as well, trying to figure out what was going on there, and I just left it. And even now she's how old is she? She's 8, going on 9 this year. But she will ask about certain things and then address them as they're coming up about their bodies, etc. Inshallah.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. I was discussing with a friend today about setting a local gathering for Muslim teenage girls to educate them on topics such as puberty, menstruation, hormones, body, and do and don'ts, and Q&A session. We wanted to create a kind of workshop for teenage girls to attend. Does anyone have anything that they've done that they're happy to share for us to use, or even any ideas on how to approach this? I love that. This would be brilliant, wouldn't it, to do something like this?
Please do it for us as well here at Parenting with Allah. I would recommend first educating yourself like as much as you can in the topic. And I'm talking more about like fiqh related things as well, because sometimes people don't or getting someone who knows that, because there's going to be surface questions that things like for teenagers, they don't understand. Like it's really important to track your period. Very, very important. And I didn't know this, and I never used to do it until one of my cousins was telling me it's not only just tracking is not just to know that you're pregnant. You need to know how healthy your body is. And then since then I always did it. But just when things like abnormal bleeding, what does that mean? Can I pray? Can I not? That would probably be in your Q&A sessions, adding that. But I think props as well, like diagrams, to understand our body. Like when I'm going back to when I was taught these things, like those really made a difference on knowing what different parts of the body, what they called.
Using proper anatomical terms.
Yeah.
Not some fluff to try it. And you know what I mean? Which is
yeah, but it's true. We're laughing, but it's true because I've read a lot of articles of how young girls want to tell their teachers of what's happened, but they use different names and the teachers can't understand what's going on. So that's something that I incorporated with my own girl as well, quite young, because it's a worry, isn't it, for our girls and boys, actually. It's not just a girl thing. But make sure, in my opinion, please make sure that you state from the beginning and nearly every sentence that you speak about that it's a safe space, and that whatever you discuss only stays within those walls, so that you have those girls asking the appropriate questions or whatever they want to ask, because they're most likely going to ask about like pain management or the hormone mood swings, or understanding what a period really is, why we have it. There's a lot of teenagers absolutely hate that time of the month. How can we help them around that time? How can we support one another in that time as well?
Yeah, there's a good discussion that I had with Iram last week on last week's Thursday Thought. And when we talked about the shame around period and at home, how we tiptoe around our fathers and brothers in Ramadan because they have to hide eating, and then it's unnecessary stress, right? But when we educate our girls, say this is just part of being a woman, this is natural and stuff like that, and we teach our boys as well, because they're gonna grow up and become husbands and fathers. Right? It's already such a challenging time of the month for girls and women, let alone we having to hide our pain and our mood and our frustration from the boys and the men in the house, right?
I just wanted to pop in there because I think I've shared quite a lot of what Suleiman says, and I think I need to write a book, bless him, mashallah. But I think a couple of weeks ago I was doing a live as well, and I mentioned that we were just teasing, or the kids were just teasing each other, and they said, oh, Zachariah likes this girl and whatever, and I was actually like, alhamdulillah, he likes a girl, because obviously more pressing issues than that nowadays. And for some reason, I can't remember how it happened, but someone said to Suleiman, are you going to get married as well, Suleiman? Are you going to? He said, yeah, I do like girls. And then we all looked at him and he said, except when they're on their period. And I promise you, I haven't even said, he's made that link himself. Like, I haven't said that, be careful with the girls because they're on their period or whatever. But he's kind of made a link, like he knows that they don't pray because they're on their period. He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know what it is. But he just goes, like, he's made a link, like they'll say, are you on? Are you right? Do you know what I mean? He's made that link himself. And in a way, it is good, isn't it? Because you don't go into, like, I do remember, like, when I first got married and my husband was like, wait a minute, like, they don't know about it. They don't understand how to treat us. Wait, what do you mean you need chocolate? Yes, it's urgent.
I remember when I was growing up and my dad used to ask me, have you prayed? Right?
Yeah.
And I just couldn't say, no, I'm on my cycle. Like, that's not how I brought up. It's like, yeah. You're literally lying. Because you feel ashamed. Yeah. But now, like with my daughter, when my husband asks her, have you prayed? She goes, no, I'm on. It's natural as that.
Yeah. I mean, mine even says to them, he goes, are you praying? Yeah. Like, he doesn't even say, have you? Like, he's like, are you praying? Yeah. Or he'll ask me, he'll be like, because he knows that we've kind of synced. So he's like, so shall I wake her up? Shall I wake her up? Because that's his duty. And he'll actually ask me, and I'll be like, wait, actually, I don't know. Go and check with them. But, we have to normalize it, mashallah. I've really, really enjoyed this session, mashallah, sisters. Honestly, jazakallah khair. And again, I just
let's answer the last question because it's pretty short, I think.
Okay, go on.
There's a farewell ceremony organized by the school today. My son had to report at school by 2:45, but he was so nervous, poor thing, that he got ready a bit late and left by 3 p.m. He was getting nervous to go on stage to take his certificate. I told him to deep breathe. If he feels anxious, we'll join him soon after Maghrib. What could I do to calm him down or to keep him calm? MashaAllah. Yeah, I mean, what you told him to breathe is literally one of the ways that you can calm down the nervous system and call in the parasympathetic system. It's something new that he's doing, getting on stage in front of so many people. It's challenging even for us as adults, right?
Yeah, I still get nervous all the time.
Yeah, but yeah, just breathing, and also kind of direct his attention on how proud everybody is, how he's going to feel after he gets his certificate and stuff like that, or the after feelings is always a great way to kind of direct his focus, as opposed to how he's going to feel getting on stage, you know. But yeah, those are my two thoughts. Other than that, there isn't much that I know that you can do. What do you think, Aisha?
I would say give him a hug. You know, can you imagine, like, if your mom hugs you, you're just like, oh, it feels better now, because she's your comfort, right? Like that physical touch, and just stroking. So like stroking your kids on the back when you hug them, or their hair, or whatever it is so calming for them. And it's still calming for me as an adult. Gosh, I love it. Like, so calming for me.
Yeah. And even like the studies have shown, even hugging yourself when you're stressed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because it's that human touch. So even hugging yourself when you're stressed is helpful to call in that parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state, so to speak.
Yeah. So that's what we would say. I think those are perfect, just deep breaths, but they have to be concentrated as well, because sometimes you can be still thinking about it and looking elsewhere and still breathing. You're like, it doesn't actually help, right? Try and get them, do it with them. That's what I always do. Do it with them, and so they can focus on you and your eyeballs, and then not just be here and there and everywhere, and then hug them. Like, they will. That's just the best thing I think you can do for them. But congratulations if this is as well.
All right. So before we hop off, let's talk about the nutrition. I don't like the word reset, honestly, because it doesn't really reset anything. It's just, but it's what a lot of people relate to. So I've used the word reset. Kickstart. And kickstart is a good one, right? So nutrition kickstart to prepare you for Ramadan. This was supposed to have started last week, but life happens. We are mums, right? So we postponed it to the 13th. So it's starting on Monday. This is for our supported group. So if you've signed up to our memberships, you're going to be able to be part of this challenge. It's going to be absolutely epic. It's going to give you those initial behaviors and foundations to get started, to be healthy during Ramadan, right? We're going to go a lot more deeper into behavior change coaching, into what kind of behaviors to kind of engage in, right? To help you keep that consistency of eating better and moving and stuff like that. So it's going to be absolutely epic. Sign on, and you're not going to regret signing on, right? So I think Sarah has put links to the sign up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see you on the other side, to see you in the groups, to have you in the conversations. I'll be going on the WhatsApp group. It's very intimate. It's such an intimate group that is on purpose, because we want to create a safe space for you to share. Because here's the thing, our nutrition is not just about food. How we eat, even the foods that we choose to eat, are driven by life, by the stresses of life, by the things that are happening around us. So these conversations get really intimate. We share things that are beyond nutrition, because all those things will impact our food choices and our activity levels. So yeah, I think that's it for me today. I need to go and cook chapati now.
Jazakallah, thank you so much, sisters, for coming on. And I just want to reiterate what Sister Yusra said. Like, some people have noticed, alhamdulillah, even online, that I've lost weight. Woohoo! I've been on a little bit of a plateau the last month, but that's okay. And the thing is, before I would say stuff to Yusra like, but I haven't lost anything this week. And she was like, yes, but did you gain anything? I'd be like, no, I didn't. Oh my God. You know, so alhamdulillah, it really does. Like, obviously, everyone knows that I've been working with Yusra for like a few months now, since last September, was it? August?
Yeah.
End of September, mashallah. And, you know, the mindset changes that have happened with me and my relationship with food. Like, I can sit, yesterday I sat and I had a lovely carrot cake and I flipping enjoyed it. And I don't think I've ever, and this is why I wanted to come on just now to pop on, because I don't think that I've ever sat there with a cake and a milk coffee, like full fat milk coffee, and enjoyed it, because I've always had that guilty feeling at the back. Oh God, I shouldn't be eating this now. I shouldn't be eating this. And that's the kind of thing that that's the kind of behavior that Yusra works on. So I really, really highly recommend everyone come into the WhatsApp group. She'll be sharing videos with us every day. I'll be emailing them to you as well. And inshallah, at the end of the week, she's got a full webinar, inshallah, haven't you?
Yeah, it's going to be a master class. So if you come to the master class and you practice, because like I said before, I'm a busy mom. I don't do fluff. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I share, whatever actions I tell you to take, these are actions that you can actually merge with your busy lives. Not some list that you read on the internet, a 10-step thing. No, this is real life, because we are busy moms, we are business owners, we are home educators, we are all these things. So we want strategies that can actually merge into our busy lives, and that is what I'm about. So if you come to this masterclass, like, and if you implement what I coach you on, the transformations that you have are going to be insane, right?
Mad. Like mad. I can't even go further than that. Mashallah, mashallah. Jazakallah khair. Coach Aisha, thank you so much for coming along today. We really appreciate it. And Coach Yusra, mashallah, they're really, sisters like you guys, seriously, mashallah, just Allah bless you and give you everything and the best of this world, honestly, and the hereafter. And inshallah, please, everyone, pray for the coaches, pray for Turkey, pray for Syria, pray for all the places in the Muslim world that are affected by different tragedies and atrocities, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for attending, sisters. Please do share the YouTube link, share the WhatsApp link, share anything you like. Like, I've got sisters, bless you, that email me and they say, am I allowed to share this? I'm like, of course, yes, please do. Like, there's nothing on sharing. Obviously, if you're in the inner tribe, that's a different thing. You can't share those links. But in the public domain, anything that we have, please do share it, and please feel free to share it. And there's honestly no need to ask any of us. And we appreciate all of you. Like, subscribe, comment below, tell us how much you like it. And inshallah, we'll be back soon.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Walaikum salam. You know what I spend my time doing?